There are 3 things that sell your books to new readers who have never encountered you before: your cover, your blurb, and what people say about it. In this video, the third in a series on covers, blurbs, and how to get people to talk about your book, we're going to talk about how to get we're going to talk about reviews. For anyone who's new to this channel, my name is Seth. I'm a full-time fantasy author. I like making YouTube videos about writing content, and if that's something that you are interested in, definitely hit that subscribe button. Oh, and turn on the notification bell, because then it's going to sometimes tell you when I put out videos. But it seems to be hit or miss, so make sure you come back to my channel and check it a lot. I put out videos every Tuesday and Friday, I think, and shorts sometimes, or a lot. It just sort of depends. You know, we're trying. But today, we are here to talk about reviews. Reviews seem to be, at least in the indie world, sort of like the golden ticket. If you can get a lot of reviews, you can sell a lot of books. The reality is, though, that that's sort of backwards. No matter how many reviews you get, the way you get them determines whether you sell books or not. Because reviews are what's called a lagging indicator. A lagging indicator is an indicator that comes after something has already happened. For the most part, people are going to review your book after they have read it, which means that if you want lots of reviews, you need sales first. This isn't a really popular thing to talk about because, again, there's this sort of myth that floats around in the indie world, at least, that if you have a lot of, or that if you can generate reviews, you will sell more books. And there is a slight bit of truth to that. If somebody is looking at 2 different books and one of them has 10 reviews and the other has 100 reviews, obviously the one with 100 reviews, they are going to take those reviews more seriously. But it's important to put this into proper context because reviews don't actually sell books. And this is because of something called confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is a tendency that humans have to find information that supports their position, or at least interpret information that they're getting in a way that supports their preconceived bias. So if you have a good cover, which was the first video we did, and if you have a good blurb, which was the second video we did, and somebody is leaning towards buying your book, looking at the reviews is only going to encourage them to buy the book. It's not actually going to discourage them from buying the book. Unless, of course, there's something in your book that is a non-negotiable for them, and they see in a review that it exists inside your story. At which point they will opt out, and that's a great thing. On the other hand, if somebody looks at your cover and is like, I'm not sure, and then they read your blurb and they're like, I'm not sure that this is for me, and then they open up your reviews, no matter how good your reviews are, they're probably not going to buy your book because they're going to confirm for themselves that it's not for them. And so this confirmation bias is really the thing that is going to drive your sale, which means that we have to focus on the cover and we have to focus on the blurb. But there is one thing about reviews that is very important, and it's not actually the reviews themselves. Instead, reviews are an indicator that people want to talk about your book. And this is the holy grail of selling books. Word of mouth sells more books than any other method, hands down. Without question. No matter how many advertising dollars you throw at your book, if it is not word of mouth worthy, that is, if people do not naturally share it or naturally want to talk about it, then it's just not going to go as far as you want it to go. On the other hand, if you can write a book that people want to talk about, and again, reviews are a lagging indicator that people want to talk about your book because they finish your book and then they get on and they type reviews, then you know you have a book with legs that's going to go the distance. I learned this lesson very early in my author career. I was writing on some serial fiction websites, Royal Road and Wattpad, and I had a couple of stories up. And I remember when I figured out that the Titan series was the story that I wanted to start with, or at least publish first. I figured that out because people were commenting in my other stories, hey, this isn't great, but have you read Novaterra? Hey, why isn't this as good as Novaterra? Hey, you should go read Novaterra. And I was even seeing those kinds of comments on other people's stories, where somebody would say, hey, I really like this kind of story. Do you have any recommendations? And then boom, Novatera up there at the top. And that was the point that I figured out, okay, this is the story that I need to be focusing on. All of the others need to be put on the shelf or put on the back burner so that I can focus on this story because this is the one that has legs. And that has proven to be true. I've sold hundreds of thousands of copies of the Titan series. And the reason that I've sold so many is because people want to talk about it. What does this mean for us as writers, though? Well, this might mean that we need to take a good, long, hard look at our stories. If we are giving it to people and they are not excited about reading it, then maybe we need to go back to the drawing board. Maybe we need to polish our craft a little bit more. Not every story is equal. Not every idea is equal. Not every story grabs readers in the same way. And if you want to be an author, you have to write stories that grab people. And again, this is the litmus test. Whether or not they are willing to talk about these stories with other people, whether or not they are willing to recommend them to others. Now, that doesn't mean that there isn't stuff we can do. One of the best common practices, especially for indie authors, is to format your front matter and your back matter with links asking people for reviews if they enjoyed the story. You absolutely cannot give somebody something for a review. That is like absolutely taboo. Don't do that. It's super scummy. But you can ask people. You can say, hey, reviews are really important to indie authors like me. Please leave a review if you liked the book. If you didn't like the book, here's my email address. Send me an email telling me one thing that I can do better for my next story. The simple act of asking somebody, especially if it's in an ebook and you can include a link to the review page on Amazon in the back of the book, is going to help you get reviews. Because somebody will get to the end of the book, and if they've had a positive experience, which they hopefully have, they're going to click that button in a burst of passion, and they're going to fill it out, and bam, you're going to have a review. Speaking of which, if you've enjoyed any of my books, do me a huge favor and share them with somebody you think might like them too. That would be awesome. If they are still not writing reviews, then it's time to take that long, hard look at your craft and to figure out how you can get better at it. Remember, writing is a get-rich-slowly game. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Taking the time to polish your craft and writing a book that people want to talk about is absolutely worth it. At the end of the day, the more you write, the better you're going to get at this. The more you tell stories, the better those stories are going to become. And if you can keep some of the principles we've talked about in past videos in mind, specifically always improving, always working on your craft, always asking that one most important question of what can I do better? You're going to find yourself having an easier and easier time delivering what it is your readers want. And if you can deliver what your readers want, they're going to leave you reviews and they're going to tell other people about your book. So just keep at it. Keep plugging away. And believe me, you're going to get there.